Red sun rises, lady of red. Red sun rises, lady of red. Crosses foreign fields, looking for her dead. Crosses foreign fields, looking for her dead. Red sun rising, lady of red. Red sun rising, lady of red. Wanders foreign fields, searching for her dead. Wanders foreign fields, searching for her dead.
Hi, everybody. This is Peter at soundsites.com, coming to you from my home office slash studio slash man cave. If it wasn't my man cave, that burlap in the corner would be much smoother. I've been coached by the folks outside in the hallway. What you just heard was a comparison between a MXL v250 and a 990, and then I compared the v250 with a 770. Selling my 990, which is brand new, on eBay. I'm getting about what I paid for it, which is nice. Because I found the 770, which also has a bass roll-off or a high-pass filter switch and a 10 dB attenuation, which I kind of like. I kind of like the options there. Whenever we have a hobby, we get started. We start out with what's available to us. We're not sure we're going to enjoy it, so we don't want to spend a lot of money. If you're doing recording and you picked up a condenser mic because you want to do something other than the typical dynamic mic, you want to do some real type studio talk, or singing, you want to do a demo and put it out. There's a lot of YouTubing going on, etc., for the studio kind of sound that people are looking for. Condenser mics are great for. These mics that we've been talking about, starter level, you can get them between $40 and $60, sometimes $80. The 770 is a little more expensive because it does have the optional switches in it that kind of change things up a little bit, little extra components in it. Still, the 770, the 990, the v250 share basically the same components as far as I can tell. And as you saw and heard from the samples that I played, you can't really tell much difference between them. If you've got really finite ears, when it comes down to it, you put compression on it and EQ and maybe a little reverb on it. I defy anybody to tell the difference between these mics. So I've got a v250 that's going to sit on the shelf if I continue using the 770 for this kind of work. So what do I do with it? There's some interesting options. Rather than just sell it on eBay and then, a year down the road, I figure I want a Omni mic, the omnidirectional or something like that. I'm going to be spending $200, $300 for a better mic. And that's kind of the typical pattern. You continue on, you like it a lot, you want to expand, you always want better equipment, you get a better digital analog converter, you get a higher end mixer or DAW station, something like that. Rather than just get rid of this, there's a couple different options. On the front of soundsites.com in my hidden gems section, I feature a couple cool ones. One is octafa.com. It's up in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It's run by Michael Jolie. I think I'm saying his name right. I hope so. And he will let me send him my mic. He will send back the basic structure of it, the harness. He'll replace the capsule. He'll replace the electronics inside and send this back to me. I think he puts a new head basket on it as well. Sounding like a very high-end studio mic for about $350. And there are different options. It depends which mic you're using. He does 990s. He does quite a few. So if you go to octafa.com, Michael Jolie Engineering is the company. You can see the link right on the front page of soundsites.com. that is an option, especially if you're not a do-it-yourselfer. One of the cool things about that, other than over do-it-yourself jobs, is he takes the accountability of getting it done right. So otherwise, you do it yourself, you might screw it up. But that's the second option. One of the cool sites I found too, also in my hidden gems section on the front page of soundsites.com, is microphone-parts.com. Matt McGuinn, who runs recordinghacks.com, got a great microphone database there. He's really into microphones. His company at microphone-parts.com, Mic Parts, will sell the capsule itself, will sell an electronic board, the PCB board, and all of the higher end components. If you're into soldering, if you're into do it yourself, you can replace the contents of this yourself. And it also does the 990, 770, not just MXLs, a bunch of other makes. You can find it on their site, which mics they support. So rather than simply let it sit on the shelf, could sell on eBay, but what's the fun of that? Being a kind of a do-it-yourself tinkerer, I kind of like the idea of going and seeing if I can make this thing sound a lot better. Now, one of the things that we saw on the graphs, the peak graphs for that recording I did, was the peak at about 8K. And that's kind of a known thing about the lower end condenser mics made in China, is they all seem to have that real spike. Some people talk about it as being a little harsh. So the capsules, and I have one here, should smooth that out. At least that's what's said. Now, these are a little bit pricey. So this cost me $50 a year ago. This capsule right here is about $150, just under. It's a 47 type. So if you guys who know your mics, 47, 87, and 12 are kind of magical numbers in the upper end of the $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 mic world. U87s, U47s, C12s, CV12s. So a little pricey. So these two together makes it a $200 that I would have into it. But from what they say on microphoneparts.com is 90% of mic sound comes from the capsule. So it doesn't mean I'll get 90% better sound with this capsule, but I should get a clear improvement, smoother high end, maybe a little warmer. We'll see. So I'm going to go and put this into this mic, and then we've already compared it to the 770. So I'll be able to stand this up against the 770, and we'll see if those numbers come out a little different as far as how the EQ curves look when I do a recording. We'll compare the two, see if I still have that 8K spike that supposedly the Chinese mics are notorious for. We'll see how all this works out. I'm not going to do the electronics yet. That's kind of the beauty of this that I like about it. So I said 350. If I sent this to Octava, microphone.parts, I can put 150 into it now for the capsule, and that's the most critical change. The electronics for this particular model would run me about $130. So between the two, I'm spending maybe $50, $60, $70 less than I would if I just sent this off to Cape Cod. Now, what's nice about the Cape Cod and Octava.com is I don't have to take the liability of whether or not I screw it up. But personally, I like the fun. So kind of cool that we have options here. We can send it off and know we're going to get a good product back, or we can take it to our own workbench and have a little fun with it. I'll be right back, and we'll see how this works out for me.
Red sun rises, lady of red. Red sun rises, lady of red. Crosses foreign fields, searching for her dead. Crosses foreign fields, searching for her dead.
Okay, so after listening to that, and as you can see on the graph, I noticed two main things. One is the 8K peak that was on the original capsules for all three of those mics, the 990, 770, and this 250. That little peak is gone, or at least it's down a bit. And, 3 dB makes a big difference in a recording. I don't necessarily hear it in the mix because I don't know, my ears are trained enough right now to kind of distinguish the different frequencies that are happening. And the bulk of my voice doesn't happen up in that register. So, but obviously it was recording something, whether it was room, air, whatever. The other part I really noticed, the body where my voice really lives down in the low mids seems fuller. When I first listened to it, before I recorded anything, I was kind of shocked. I was, I had to laugh because it seems so open. It seems so clear to what I expect myself to sound like. After hearing the back and forth between these two mics, the stock 770 and this mic, I'm kind of impressed at the 770 actually at what it can do. But it definitely lacked a little bit of body down where my male voice kind of spends most of its time. So anyway, two things about that. One is you can improve, whatever that means. You can get a different sound by changing out capsules, obviously. The other thing I want to say is I'm leaving a lot of money on the table with this capsule without the electronics inside. The 250 electronics can be cardioid only. If I replace the board, I could turn this, it has a switch on it that can be a switch between cardioid and omnidirectional, so I could repurpose this mic a little better. It also, that switch can be used as a 10 dB pad if I wanted to do that rather than be able to switch the polar patterns. So a few more options there. I'm going to have to work with it a little bit, get used to the mic. I'm going to try it on some guitar. I might hear some different voicings there, but I'm kind of happy with it. Now, whether you think it's a $150 difference between the two, that's kind of up to you. But I think in a mix, and I'll try doing a little more singing, God help us all, we might feel and sense a little more of that breadth and that beef of my overly male voice in the mix. The other part of this is good mics don't change the quality of your voice. They don't make you better singer, as I've just proven. It just brings out more of the quality of your voice in however that capsule or that mic is designed to do. Have good audio.